Quick video on the Chasebait curly bait. I thought I'd do a quick video on this one. I really like the Chasebaits. They have some really cool colorways. As someone who's a bait maker, I pay a lot of attention to the aesthetics of a bait, let's just say, the aesthetics and design. And so the Chasebait curly bait is really good if you like fishing curly tails. Paddle tails are good, but I love curly tails, and just a curly tail grub is like one of my favorite lures. And this is a great lure because it's got all of my favorite features. The first thing is obviously the curly tail, as I mentioned. The next thing is this rib section, which is really cool because it traps air, and I've done a video on the Berkeley bubble creeper, which has a similar concept. But the way that it traps air and disperses bubbles as it goes through the water and as you action the bait through the water is a really cool feature. The other really cool thing about these ribs is that they trap scent really well. So if you put like an S factor or something like that, if you're someone who likes using scent, which I do, then it gives you plenty of area to put the scent on. You can add the scent there, wipe it over, and it really stays inside those ribbed areas. Otherwise, if you use a smooth surface bait, even like a grub, you kind of got to reapply it every, I don't know, half a dozen casts, or probably not that much, but every dozen casts or so. In terms of this design, this is a plum color. They call it just plum. It's a 4-inch bait, 5 per pack, and comes in these little blister packs. If that bothers you, some people they feel like baits deform or something if they're not in these blisters, but I've never really had a problem. But if you like fishing like a curly grub and you also like fishing a paddle tail, this might be one to look at because it's kind of a bit of a hybrid between the two. Just a nice little clear body belly lamination. It's got a very, very subtle blue fleck as well as a larger purple hexagon fleck through there. Darker, kind of like an olive drab on top. And then what they've done is they've also added a purple pearl or plum colored pearl to the bait. So it does give it that kind of two-dimensional look where, in some lighting conditions like that, it looks quite a natural bait with like a dark green and a kind of a clear belly. But then as it moves through the water, you can see that purple pearl really kicks off the bait. Just gives it another dimension, adds a bit more realism to the bait. What also adds realism is these 3D eyes, which are really cool. It's quite a nice addition for a soft plastic. You don't really see that on too many soft plastics at all. So that's a nice little touch from Chasebaits there. You'll notice the ribbed body section is actually, it's like a cutout, it's like a wave through it, and they say that is deliberate to add a bit of body action. I didn't really see anything like that in testing, but as you can see from the video, it produces plenty of action just from that curltail alone. Just what you'd expect from a curly tail. Nice and balanced in the water, doesn't need to be ripped too hard for it to action, and I can't see why this wouldn't catch plenty of fish. The other cool feature is the hook slot, and it's a really nice hook slot, like a nice deep hook slot. Also on the top, not as deep, just down to the top of the main body of the bait, so it just goes through the ribs on the top, but the nice, really generous hook slot on the bottom, and that's something I like too. Some of these rib baits, they just have kind of like a nothing hook slot that isn't really helpful, but this one's a really nice one. So that's the Chasebait curly bait. And I'm a big fan of these baits. I really think they have a really cool line at Chasebaits. They do put a lot of effort into their colors and their designs, and I appreciate that. They're claimed to be salted and double scented. On testing, they're a PVC bait. They're not going to disperse scent like a grub, like a gulp or a water-based bait. But like I said, these rib sections, plenty of space to add some scent if you want to. That's the review of the Chasebait curly bait, and let me know what you think.